This week on Lewis on the Law, I've got yet another great show for you. I have attorney Wando Ume-Nwagbo on with me, and we're going to talk employee benefits.
Welcome to Lewis on the Law.
You are listening to Lewis on the Law, and my name is James Lewis, and I'm your host this week and every week. And in the spirit of empowering you, the listener, I have another awesome show in store for you. I have attorney Wando Ume-Nwagbo on with me, and we are going to talk employee benefits. How are you doing today, Wando?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
It's another day in paradise. I know. That's what I keep telling myself every single day. And then one of these days, you know what? I'm going to wake up in a South Caribbean island with the palm trees waving.
Power of visualization.
I know, right?
I'm all about that.
Exactly. I'm going to be like, you see, I knew it. It's another day in paradise.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Okay, so why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your practice? You're a partner at Smithers and Ume-Nwagbo?
Yes. We've had the firm for about 7 years. Before that, I was in private practice with 3 of the big law firms in Atlanta, Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
And so in the last 7 years, what I do specifically is working with employers and companies to set up their benefit plans, whatever benefits they're thinking about providing, set up the structure to provide those benefits. And I deal with the IRS and the Georgia Department of Labor on a regular basis.
God bless you. God bless you. Early on in my career, I did some tax law. I worked at a low income tax payer clinic as a legal fellow, and the IRS. Oh my God.
Yeah. So I actually enjoy working with them. Believe it or not.
The one good thing about it is no matter what, it's non-confrontational and non-adversarial.
Exactly.
I mean, the IRS is just like, yeah, we want our money. Okay, how much can you give us?
Like, okay, let's work out a plan. All right, we're good to go.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not quite what I do these days, where people are angry with me or I am angry with people.
Right.
Right. Okay. So. You are with the Cobb Chamber of Commerce, is that right?
Yes. The firm is a member of the chamber. We've been members for about 7 years now. And one of the things that I do is I serve as an ambassador, which means that we go to a lot of ribbon cuttings over around the city, around basically the county. And we represent the Chamber of Commerce, let them know that we are there to answer questions. Obviously, new members are welcome at any time, but really to meet business owners and to answer any questions as to what the chamber could do for them. So last year I was actually chair of that ambassador committee. So that's just one of the many things that I do.
So that brings me to a question. What can the Chamber of Commerce do for small businesses?
Oh my God.
Or for businesses in general?
I think exposure is obviously we want customers, new customers, returning customers, and for people to buy from you, they have to know that you exist. And I believe that being a member of the chamber gets you that kind of exposure. And of course, if you want something more specific or special, there are committees and business interest groups that allow you to make those connections and put you in front of the people that you need to talk to, whether in government or other businesses. Okay,
so is that something you would recommend for, say, a small business or an entrepreneur just starting out, becoming involved with an organization like that?
Absolutely. I think that gets you in front of a lot of people who you ordinarily would not be able to talk to. So, for instance, like with the Cobb Chamber of Commerce, we've got Fortune 50 companies that are members, and so they attend events just like every other person. Where else am I going to get a chance to talk to those people unless I have some big function that I've paid $500 for a ticket to attend?
Interesting. I always forget about the marketing aspect of my business. Right now, I have like clients pouring in. They're not pouring in, but they're coming in on a regular basis. So I never think about marketing myself, but I really should pick that up. Maybe I could actually move my very small law firm into a medium-sized law firm.
Absolutely, that's possible.
Okay, so we're talking employee benefits. Are there laws that guide employee benefits?
There are laws.
I guess that's a dumb question, huh?
Not a dumb question.
You got to mind me. I'm a little slow on the uptake here.
That's okay. I'm happy to walk you through it. There are 2 major laws that govern employee benefits. You have the Internal Revenue Code of 1986. That's the tax code. And then there's another set of laws called ERISA. The long form is the Employee Retirement Income Security Act of 1974, short form ERISA. And those 2 sets of laws are primarily the laws that kind of address employee benefits, how to do it, what to do, and what you can't do.
Okay, we'll get back into that a little bit later. Okay, so first let's take a broad view of this. What exactly are you talking about when you are saying employee benefits?
So we're talking about things like pension benefits, so retirement plans, 401k plans, pension plans, 403b plans, any plan that will allow an employee to save towards their retirement when they stop working. And then you talk about things like welfare benefits, medical benefits, dental, life insurance, short-term disability, anything of that nature. And then we also have something, more of the executive compensation. So we talk about stock plans, we talk about Percocets that we provide to CEOs and C-level employees. And then we've got something that we will call ancillary benefits. So we're talking to things about parking or paid time off
And parking is a huge thing. If you work in the city,
exactly.
you realize what a mess parking can be.
Exactly. So those are sort of like ancillary benefits. So those are the benefits that I'm talking about. Everything that you get at work outside of your base pay, really, is what we're talking about.
Now, does the IRS code and ERISA, do they work in conjunction or do they separate and they take different areas?
They take different areas. Sometimes there's some overlap, but then they let you know, okay, the IRS is going to be the governing agency in this respect, or the Department of Labor. But there is some overlap, but for the most part, they have specific things that they look at. So the IRS looks more to what is taxable, what you can deduct from your taxes, what's tax-free, what's tax deferred, as opposed to a Department of Labor under ERISA, which really functions more of what are you telling the government about the benefits, reporting what you've done, disclosing that information to the people in the plan, and then also more of a fiduciary responsibility. Like there are certain things that you shouldn't do as an employer, even though sometimes they do that. So there are definitely different things that they look at.
Like, for example, what kind of things shouldn't you do as an employer that may affect your fiduciary duties?
Fiduciary responsibility. So, for instance, when people put money into their 401k plan, what that means is that the employer has a basis for taking money out of an employee's paycheck, and it's supposed to be transmitted to the 401k plan as soon as possible, but no later than 15 days after you've taken that money out. Well, in some instances, we have employers who take the money out and it just never actually makes it into the plan.
Ouch.
Yeah, that's a big no-no. The government does not like when that happens. So that's one of the many things.
Does that actually happen?
Yes, it does. Unfortunately, it does. More often than you think.
Oh, now that is really bad. I think we were talking a little bit earlier about why you would not want to contribute to a 401k plan or something like that. And that just kind of gave me pause.
Right, but you have to recognize that's obviously there are instances where it tends to happen in smaller companies where you've got the owner of the company sort of like really intimately involved in the plan.
And he's double dipping?
Yeah, basically that's what they're doing. Yes.
That's not good.
We don't like that.
So it's really something that you have to focus on with the smaller companies, not the larger companies.
I mean, I'm not going to say never because we have Enron and, there are just a number of cases out there where employees or employers represented obviously by the CEO and CFO where they've done really bad things with people's money. So it can happen at any level.
Now, I didn't really remember that much exactly what happened with Enron. What was the issue there?
There are several issues, but some of it revolved around basically taking money that wasn't really allocated to the CEO or the CFO, monies that should have gone into a 401k plan did not necessarily make it into. So there are a lot of variety of issues that happened, and we can definitely have that conversation offline as to what happened to Enron.
Yeah, I guess we shouldn't talk about that online here. Okay, so the IRS talks about or actually controls like what is taxable. So you're really talking about your IRAs and your 401ks there.
Absolutely. IRAs, individual retirement annuities. We're talking about 401k plans, which a 401k plan really is a retirement plan that's structured under Section 401k of the Internal Revenue Service.
That's why it's called a 401k.
Exactly.
Right?
That's why the name is a 401k plan.
Wow, I'm struck by lightning. It's like a light bulb just went off.
Right. Like, that makes sense. We're also talking about a traditional retirement plan, a pension plan, so to speak, where you don't put money in, the company puts money in on your behalf. And over years of, basically like a number of years, maybe 20 years, they multiply that by how much compensation you've made and a few other things in this fabulous formula, and boom, comes out a monthly pension that you receive for the rest of your life.
Great. And I think we are about to get into pension benefits, but we're at the end of this segment. So, Wanda, will you give them some contact information for you?
Absolutely. You can reach us on the web, www.stulawgroup.com. My number is 404-418-8492, extension 103.
You're listening to Lewis on the Law. My name is James Lewis. You can always contact me at james@jameslewislegal.com. That's my email address. You can go to my website. All my old shows are archived on my website. If you have a topic that you'd like to hear on this show, go to my contact page, drop me a line, and I'll try and bring an attorney on who knows something about your topic, and we'll get into it on air. Remember, if you have a serious legal issue, don't rely on what you hear on this show. This show is only designed to bring you legal information. If you have a serious legal problem, go ahead and contract with an attorney. You can always find attorneys on my webpage. A lot of them have been here on this show. You can always contact me, and if I can't help you with a legal issue, I may be able to direct you towards an attorney who can. Remember, this show is only designed to give you information, maybe tell you what type of issues, if you actually have a case, if you need help, and if that help's available. When we get back, we're going to talk about pension benefits. You are listening to Lewis on the Law. My name is James Lewis, and I have another awesome show coming your way. We are talking employee benefits, and I have attorney Wando Ume Nwagbo on with me, and we are getting into this. This is a heavy topic. I mean, there's a lot of dense information in here. Okay, so when we left off, we're talking pension benefits. Now, there just one kind? I mean, the only thing I know is like 401k or IRA, and that's it.
Right. So you have two broad categories of pension benefits. You have something called defined benefit plans. And with that defined benefit, basically you, the employee, you don't put money into that plan. The employer puts in money for you. And based on...
And you don't have to put any money into it?
Into a defined benefit plan.
That sounds great.
Yes, it sounds...
How come I've never been offered that?
Because it's expensive to set up. It's expensive to maintain. And a lot of times you have companies... When you've heard about pension plans going broke or bankrupt, they typically have pension plans because the company is having to put money in annually, basically to determine how much funds they need to fund everybody's retirement over... If you retire at age 65, people are living to 85, 95, 100. They're basically funding that person's retirement over 30 years. That's a lot of money. And
now, not us attorneys. We'll die of stress and heart attacks way
earlier,
before
we get to 60 or 70. Exactly.
Yeah, right. None of us make it that long.
Exactly. But for a lot of people retire at age 65, you still have 20, 30 years of fruitful, active living. And the company is funding that retirement. And it could be anywhere from $800 a month to maybe $2,000 a month. That's a lot of money that they've got to put in every year to make sure that those funds that your benefits are funded completely. Because if they're not funded, guess what? The plan goes bankrupt, we go to the government, and the government basically picks up those benefits. They might slash them, but they still have to continue. Basically, they've made a promise to you. Okay,
so wait a minute. The government picks up the benefits. If the plan goes bankrupt and the business folds, then it's the government that's left with the bill?
Basically, they get left holding the bag. So
interesting.
So they've got.
And does the government pay full benefits then, just as if it was established by your company?
It won't be full benefits, but you'll still get something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you've got those who've got defined benefit plans, and then you've got defined contributions. That's where your 401k plans come into play. Basically, you're putting your money into the plan, and the idea is that it's being invested in the stock market or other avenues, and hopefully in 20, 30, 40 years, you have this huge bucket of money that you get to take with you.
And I think that's what most people are familiar with are the defined contribution plans.
Yes.
I didn't realize there was something else. I guess that's for those people who have better jobs than I had.
Well, most companies are doing away with their defined benefit plans. So a lot of people really just have the 401k or those kinds of benefits just, basically available to them.
Now, is an IRA that type of plan also?
It is, but it's actually it's an individual retirement plan. So basically, when you leave your company with your 401k plan and you're not yet at age 65 where you can start drawing your pension or drawing money from the account, you can actually transfer that 401k money into an IRA. And basically it continues to grow in the stock market until you're ready to start taking money out.
Okay. And can you take money out of an IRA at any time?
You can, but you will pay penalties to the government.
Yeah, tax penalties.
Right. Now, you can wait until age 65
Mm-hmm.
to start taking money. And you can basically, at that point, if it's a 401k plan, you then will pay just regular taxes
Mm-hmm.
on the amount because this is a tax deferred plan.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, you've deferred the taxes on that money as it grew.
Mm-hmm.
But once you start taking money out, then we start to tax the money that you're taking out on a regular basis.
Now, the income that you contribute to a 401 or an IRA is not taxed initially. Is that correct?
That is correct. It's basically it's pre-tax dollars that are allowed to go into the plan and grow tax-free or tax-deferred.
Mm-hmm.
The taxing of the money starts when you actually start taking money out.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's another kind of plan. There's a Roth IRA, which you've also heard about.
Oh, yeah, you hear about that all the time. So wait a minute, what is the difference between a Roth
The difference
IRA
is that
and an IRA?
in a regular IRA, a Roth IRA, actually you'll put in after-tax money. So you pay taxes up front on the money before the money goes into the IRA, which means that when you start taking the money out of the IRA, it's tax-free.
That sounds awesome. Well, I guess that's a double-edged sword because you don't know what the tax system is going to be like in the future. I mean, you're hit at what 17%, but then maybe in the future it's 25%, or maybe the tax code's dropped and it's 10%.
Drop, right? But I think if I were a betting woman, I would bet that the taxes are going to go up. So I would rather pay taxes today.
I think that's one of those theories. Taxes always go up.
They always
right?
go up, exactly. So if they're going to go up, I'd rather pay the 17% today than pay 25, 35, or maybe, God forbid, 40% in the future.
God forbid, 40%, right?
Yeah. So those are sort of like, but in that's part of the defined contribution because you, the employee, will have to make a contribution every month to the plan in order to build up the amount for retirement.
Mm-hmm. Now, let me ask you a question on that real quickly.
Sure.
Okay, so say you're making $150,000 and you're taxed at a certain rate today, and then when your IRA kicks in and you're bringing in less income, will you be taxed at that lower income rate?
Yes, you will be.
Okay.
Yes, you're not taxed at the rate that you made or the rate you were at when you made the contribution. You're taxed at the rate that you are today.
Okay, so that might actually be a benefit to some people, especially if they're high income earners and their IRAs are going to actually distribute us, or 401ks are going to distribute a smaller amount.
Right, that could be basically that's a tax strategy. And so I would advise you to talk to your accountants and your tax specialists on what strategy works best for you.
Okay, so interesting. How do they work with Social Security now? If you're receiving a certain amount of benefits from 401ks, from IRAs, Roth IRAs, does that impact your Social Security benefits when you're SS eligible?
There is no impact on your Social Security. So basically what you're doing with your 401k plan, that's your choice. So to fund it or not fund it is up to you. Social Security will come if the government says that we have Social Security when you retire. So those are two separate buckets of money. So
did you say if there's Social Security when you retire? Are you saying it might not be there when
as far as some people are concerned, in 2035 it goes away. I wouldn't necessarily say 2035 for sure, but there's definitely a chance that we may not get as much. And for those younger than me, there may not be anything at all for them to.
In 2035, so I'm not going to get Social Security. Then there's a good chance
It's a possibility.
Ouch. Well, and don't smirk at me. You're way out of luck. You're young enough to be my son.
The younger generations right now, if you're working and paying taxes, your money is probably going to help fund benefits for those people older than you right now, which means that money isn't coming in. So you need people younger than you to work so they can fund your retirement, basically, is what they're telling us what needs to happen.
Oh, so they need to have kids and build our economy.
Exactly.
I think that's bad because I think our population, the majority of our population is aging. Like there's a larger group of population that's aging than they're having kids.
Yeah, that's generally the trend not just nationwide, but globally. So, yeah.
Okay. So we've got into that a little bit. Is there anything else we need to touch on here on the pension benefits?
I think the big thing is that a lot of companies are definitely walking away from defined benefit plans simply because they're so expensive to fund and maintain on a regular
It just seems like a loss for most companies. What would be the advantage for a company having a defined benefit plan?
I think for smaller companies, like when you think of like doctors' offices or dentist offices, where it's just
or attorneys' offices,
or attorneys' offices, yes, well, maybe to a lesser extent, but definitely they're making a lot of money, and they don't really have anybody setting up a plan for them unless they set one up. And for a lot of people, it's a great way to just stock in a lot of money right before you get to retirement to help you set up your retirement. So I think in a small office where you've got few high value employees who are making a lot of money, it'd be a great way to fund their retirement pretty quickly.
Okay, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to welfare benefits. What are you talking about when you talk about welfare benefits?
So welfare benefits.
Immediately I start to think of welfare like you're getting a check.
No, it is not a government check from the government. It's more of those benefits that are not really connected to retirement benefits. So we're talking health care, medical care, dental, vision, life insurance, short-term disability insurance, long-term disability insurance, anything, or severance benefits. I mean, people lose their jobs. So anything that pertains to providing benefits that you're using on a regular basis, that's what we're talking about.
Okay, so we're going to get into that in this next segment, okay? Why don't you give them some contact information for you once again, Wando?
Absolutely. My law firm, Smithers and Newell LLC. We are at www.stulawgroup.com. If you want to reach me, my email address is neu@stulawgroup.com. My number is 404-418-8492, extension 103.
You're listening to Lewis on the Law. My name is James Lewis, and I am your host. And I really want to let you guys know that this show is now streaming nationally. We stream on every single national medium platform that you can possibly think of. iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, you name it. And guess what, Wando? We are even AI compatible. You can go to Hey Alexa, play Lewis on the Law, episode 51 with attorney Wando Ume-Nwagbo, and this show will just start popping out of your AI device.
Awesome.
I know. Is that not incredible?
Cool.
This day and age, who would have thunk it? Anyways, when we get back, I said thunk it. I tickle myself. Anyways, I know I'm easy that way. Anyways, when we get back, we are going to get into welfare benefits. You are listening to Lewis on the Law. My name is James Lewis, and I am your host. This week and every week, I have another thrilling, exciting, who knew the law could be so exciting? Thrilling and exciting show. We're talking employee benefits today. I have attorney Wando Ume-Nwagbo, and before we get back into welfare benefits, I want to let you guys know that this show is only designed to bring you information. It is not supposed to be legal advice. What you hear on this show is only supposed to give you kind of a first step into the legal process, let you know if you have a problem, if you have an issue, if you need help, what type of issues you might want to preserve, what type of attorney you're looking for, whether you have a case or not. If you have a serious legal issue, go ahead and contract with an attorney. You can always contact me and I'll help you find an attorney. I work a lot with Lawyers for Equal Justice, Atlanta Legal Aid, Atlanta Volunteer Lawyers if you don't have one. A lot of attorneys have been on my show, so you can always just browse through my pages. I let them all give you contact information so you can contact them directly. And if you have a real estate problem, you can always contact me. I'm actually an attorney too, and I just don't do this. I don't play an attorney on radio. I am an actual practicing attorney. So if you have real estate issues, commercial leases, transactions, or property litigation, you can always get in touch with me. Okay, I just said a mouthful. We were talking welfare benefits. I want you to start all over on welfare benefits again because we had a little break there. Tell me, what are welfare benefits? Because they're not what you think. And, you know, before we left off, you panicked me because you told me that I'm not going to have Social Security when I'm ready to retire, that it's not going to be there for me.
There's a chance that it won't be there.
Ouch.
So,
that hurts. Okay.
I personally make the determination that it won't be there for me, so I don't even determine on that at all.
Okay, so you haven't banked on that?
No.
I haven't actually thought about it, but now that you said that and the reality of it kind of sets in, I'm like, wait a minute, I haven't thought about that at all. And I left a good job that was paying me retirement benefits. I had a 401k plan that was building that, I was getting employer contributions to. And I left all that behind for a life of insecurity and struggle. Isn't that crazy?
I know it is crazy, but what are you going to do?
Yeah, right. I can either be a dog for the man, or be a stray out on the street.
Oh gosh, neither option sounds great.
I know, right? Three square meals a day, and being a dog for the man doesn't sound so bad. But anyways, we're past that. Welfare benefits. Tell me, what are those?
All right, welfare benefits. They're generally the benefits that you get at work that deal with health care or medical care. They're dealing with your dental benefits, vision, life insurance, short-term disability insurance, long-term disability insurance. Those are sort of the benefits that we're talking about. They're not retirement benefits, and you get this on a regular basis at work. Those are the benefits that we're talking about.
Okay, so what are the issues here? What kind of legal issues might be involved with these kind of benefits?
Well, you may have heard of this law called the Affordable Care Act.
Oh yeah, I think I have. I think there's a huge
or Obamacare, depending on.
I think we're still hearing about it.
Right. So yeah, it was passed because it's been a challenge to find a way to provide benefits to employees. Because believe it or not, anywhere up to 60% of people, when they go bankrupt, it's connected in some form or fashion to paying healthcare fees and healthcare bills. And so a lot of the issues are, how do we provide these benefits? Obviously, you're not required to provide any benefits. Now, if you're an employer and you have 50 or more employees and under the Affordable Care Act, you have to figure out a way to either provide those benefits or pay a penalty.
Okay, now that's interesting because you always thought of the Affordable Care Act as affecting individuals and not businesses. At least that's the way I always thought of it.
Well, it does impact individuals because it gives them a way for them to go on the individual markets and actually find insurance to pay for their benefits and the benefits of the health issues of their families. But also, it does concern employers rather, because if you're a company, so for instance, think of your big Fortune 500 companies. Obviously, they have more than 50 employees, so they are providing benefits on a regular basis. And so the question is, how do we provide these benefits? What do we pay for? How can we pay for them? What portion does the employee pay? What portion does the employer pay? How much of it do we pay?
So are there guidelines that guide what portion the employee pays and what portion the employer pays? Or is it just kind of ad hoc?
It's ad hoc, but they're general understandings that we have. So generally, a lot of times with insurance, the company's paying close to 70% of the insurance premium, and the employee typically will pick up anywhere up to 30% of the cost to receive. So when you pay your employee portion, you're just paying about 30% of what that insurance premium could actually be.
And that's one of the real benefits of working for a corporate institution is a lot of them offer, or almost all of them offer, medical benefits, and it's a huge savings for people.
It is a huge savings. So, of course, you now think about the smaller companies, employers. How do they provide benefits? So, in 2017, a new law was passed, and basically it allows small companies that have less than 50 employees to actually help provide health insurance to their employees. And the vehicle that you can do that through is called a qualified small employer health reimbursement arrangement. I know it's a mouthful.
It is definitely a mouthful. Okay.
Yeah. But in this world, we love acronyms. QSERA is the acronym.
Okay. Yeah.
And basically, what it does, it allows a smaller employer. If you've got less than 50 employees, you can say, I don't want to provide health insurance, but I want to help my people buy health insurance. So you can make a contribution on an annual basis for each person who works for you. And they can take that money and actually go and find health insurance for themselves, go on the individual market and buy health insurance for themselves and for the members of their family. And so that's a way that a small employer can actually help their employees find health insurance without actually being in the business of finding health insurance for their people.
Yeah, health insurance is such a hot button topic right now, especially these days.
Absolutely, it is.
Now, dental and vision, are they separate? I mean, a lot of times you have dental and vision in different plans, and sometimes they're included in plans, and sometimes they're not. Why are they separate, or are they separate?
They are separate. I mean, obviously, dental has to do with your teeth, and vision is more about your eyes. But as far as how they're provided, I think it really just depends on what the company wants to provide and what they're able to provide. And so sometimes you just have healthcare, which is just really medical. And then you've got other plans that really are healthcare in that true sense because it's health, including dental and vision and prescription drugs and all of that. So it's just more of a preference than anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I've heard of these companies that will actually give you life insurance policies and some companies that actually take life insurance policies out on you.
Yes. So those are two separate things. You've got life insurance where as an individual employee, you're given an opportunity to purchase life insurance on your life.
Mm-hmm.
And if something happens to you and you die while you are covered under that policy, the money, the benefit goes to your family.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one thing. And then you have corporate-owned life insurance where the company owns life insurance on you.
Now that sounds scary. I mean, I think of all these Michael Crichton books where,
Right.
like Coma or whatever.
Exactly.
He loves to write about stuff like that.
Yeah. And so in that instance, you have to be a pretty senior individual within a company for the company to say, we need to own life insurance on you. Because the idea is that it's going to cost money to replace you.
Mm-hmm.
And so we need to take life insurance out on your person. So if something happens to you tomorrow and you die, we will at least be compensated for the expenses that the company will have to engage in order to find a new replacement, basically a new CEO, a new CFO, or a business development person or someone who's got a lot of contacts. So those are two separate things, all under the welfare benefit category.
Mm-hmm.
So, but those are two separate
It
things.
almost seems unethical for your job to take out life and be a beneficiary of a life insurance policy on you.
Right, kind of seems like something that some family takes out on you because if you don't act right, we will take you out.
I know, right? I'm
but-
just like, here, get on this plane to New York.
Right,
We've got some meetings for you to make. Oh, what? You didn't make it there?
Oops, sorry. We get, this is really not what this is about. This is more about recognizing that there are some costs involved in replacing each person. And the more senior you are within an organization, obviously the more money it's going to cost to replace that person because there's just knowledge and contacts that you've got that we can't replace immediately. So that's what that insurance is meant to cover.
Okay. That makes sense. Ish,
Kinda.
in a way. I feel a little uncomfortable with it. But you always hear about golden parachutes and these severance plans that CEOs that I actually got a severance plan before, but I never got to take advantage of it because they wouldn't fire me. But anyways, we're going to get into that in just a second. We're at the end of this segment, so I want to give our listeners a little bit of contact information for you.
Absolutely. My website is www.stulawgroup.com. If you want to contact me, my email address is neu@stulawgroup.com. My number is 404-418-8492, extension 103.
You're listening to Lewis on the Law. My name is James Lewis, and I am your host this week and every week. And all my old shows are archived on my website. You can always go to my website, jameslewislegal.com, and you can give me a call at 404-610-0075. Once again, that's 404-610-0075. If you need to contact me, you can always email me also at james@jameslewislegal.com. If you have an idea you would like to hear on this show, go ahead and hit my contact page. You can drop me a message. I know some of you guys have. Let me know what type of issue you want to hear us talk about, and I'll bring an attorney on who actually knows something about your issue, and we'll get into it on air. Remember, this show is not designed to give you legal advice. This show is only designed to give you information that may help you make an informed legal decision. When we get back, we're going to talk a little bit about severance benefits, and I want to talk about some of these plans these really, really rich people get that I'm envious of, and you always hear of, like, what? He got that much money and he got fired? What? You are listening to Lewis on the Law. I have yet another empowering, informational, and exciting Who knew the law could be so exciting? It gives me chills just to think of how we're empowering you, the listeners. And today we are talking employee benefits. I have attorney Wando Ume Nwagbo on with me, and I'm getting better at that as we go. I'm starting to get it smoothly. I like that. I feel empowered myself by that. Okay, We've thrown a lot of information at you guys. So before we move forward, I want to kind of take us back from where we've been. Can you kind of give us a wrap up on what are employee benefits again and what we're talking about here?
Absolutely. So employee benefits generally are the things that you're getting from your employer that has nothing to do with your base compensation.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking pension benefits, we're talking welfare, we're talking stock options, we're talking severance benefits. With the pension benefits, they can either be defined benefit contribution plans, defined benefit plans, which means that you, the employee, are not making any contribution. The employer, the company, they are the ones who make contributions to the plan, and then you get some kind of monthly pension benefit when you retire at age 65 or later. And we've got defined contribution plans, which is more of your traditional 401k plans or 403b plans if you're in the nonprofit sector. And basically, you've made some contribution out of your paycheck on a regular basis, either every paycheck or every month, however you choose to do that. And that basically builds up over time into something called a retirement benefit that you receive when you leave the company.
Okay. Now, is it only big companies that actually could make use of your services, or can small companies also? Because we get a lot of small company listeners here. Can small companies make use of your service too?
I've got clients right now from the Fortune 500 to companies where there have been 3 employees. So really, it doesn't matter the size of the company. They can use my services.
Excellent. And you'll help guide them in the right direction, I'm sure.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, so now we're getting into the exciting stuff, the stuff you always hear about, the big wheel stuff. I guess before that, everyone gets severance benefits, or a lot of people get severance benefits. So what is that about?
So severance benefits, basically, you've been severed from your company.
Mm-hmm.
You are been brought into HR and they've told you, we're so sorry, we have to cut you. You get benefits for a period of time to sort of compensate you for the time that you worked at the company, to help you stay on your feet while you look for another job. The idea isn't to replace your income forever. It's just to help tide you over a period of time. So it could be anywhere from 6 weeks to 12 months or 24 months, or in some cases, 36 months. That's 3 whole years.
That's a good severance package.
Yes, it is. I've worked on some of those. I did not get it, but I helped people get 3 years.
I've had several companies that I've worked for who offered severance benefits, and as one of them was going through massive layoffs. They would just lay off, one day 15 to 20 people would be sent back to HR, and I by this point I was starting to dread this job. So I thought, okay, when my time comes, I'll get a nice severance package. It'll be okay, Instead, I was one of the people they just kept on. They kept on and just kept piling more and more and more work on me, and I'm just like, oh my God. And
those are the instances where you wish you would be fired.
Where I was like, can I get the severance package? Because if I quit, I'm not going to get it. I can only get it if they cut me.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, that's what severance benefits are really all about. And again, these are voluntary benefits that the company can choose to provide. A company does not have to provide. But if they choose to provide, then there are certain parameters as far as it's got to be for either a class of employees, maybe the senior executive or middle management, but you can't pick and choose who you give it to.
Mm-hmm.
You either say you're providing to all employees or employees who meet certain categories, or you can't pick, I pick Joe, I don't pick Marcia, or I pick, Abe, I don't pick Ben. You can't.
Yeah, Ben wears a really bad tie.
Right.
Those flowered shirts. Oh my God.
Exactly. You can't pick and choose. You have to make it available to every individual who's eligible for those benefits.
Well, that actually makes a lot of sense because you don't want to be the guy who was picked on.
Right. Yeah, you don't want to be that guy.
Okay, executive compensation plans. This is the exciting stuff because this is the stuff you always hear about. Those, or at least I always hear about. And when I think of executive compensation plans, I automatically think of what do they call them? The golden parachute, or
exactly. So basically,
the gilded cage too.
Right. Well, that comes along with the golden parachutes. Basically, this is basically programs that are set up specifically for your C-level employees. So the CEO, CFO, COO, and whatever C level CIO, Chief Information Officer. And again, the base pay is probably the least amount of money that's paid. So if you think, for instance, there are CEOs that are making $650,000 a year, and you're like, oh my God, that's huge. That's nothing, because in stock options, for instance, they're collecting about $14-15 million worth of stock options. So you
jackpot.
Right, you recognize or see that the $650,000 and base pay means nothing, because the stock options, that's really where the money is. But again, the government gives you some parameters of what you can do and what you can't do, and how to make those payments so that they don't have to pay extra taxes because something went wrong somewhere.
And the stock options are extremely valuable. I mean, it's a better way to make your money because you're taxed at a lesser rate because it's that non-earned income.
It's non-earned income, and you get to purchase the stock. Actually, it's far less money than what the stock is probably going for on the open market. So they're definitely the better way to go as far as trying to get.
It is, especially if you're making a lot of money. I think Warren Buffett said that he was taxed at a lower rate than his administrative assistants were.
Which sounds so ridiculous, but that is true, and that is legal. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that.
No, that's living life large.
Yes, it is.
Okay, what other kind of executive compensation plans are there here besides the CEO level plans?
Right, so you've got plans that we call non-qualified deferred compensation plans. Again,
that's another big mouthful there.
Exactly. But the idea is that just as you have the 401k plans or other retirement plans for everybody else, you can create these special plans for your high-level employees. And basically, it allows them to put in money in addition to the 401k plans. But the difference is that they don't necessarily get the tax-deferred treatment. They don't necessarily, they don't have to abide by certain rules. So, for instance, in a 401k plan for 2019, I believe the most that you can put in is about $18,500 each year. Under a non-qualified deferred comp plan, you can put in far more than just that. So, obviously, it allows your senior level executives to put in a little bit more money in the bank or in the plan, so to speak, to bank away and park away for retirement. But it's not necessarily available to everybody. Certain people are eligible for that. And so you have to meet a very specific set of guidelines that the company has laid out. Sometimes you've got plans where they're performance-based, so you only get to put money in the plan or you only get the benefits if you've hit certain targets each year that the company set for you ahead of time. So it really just depends on what the company wants to do.
Those executive level guys, they get all of the perks.
Right, they do get all the perks, but they also get, if things go badly, they also get all the backlash, so to speak. So
they get all the backlash, but if you're getting millions of dollars in your golden parachute, then a lot of discomfort can be alleviated by a trip to the Riviera or the South Seas or, Hawaii.
Absolutely.
Is mighty nice this time of year.
Yeah.
Sure, it was a bad trip, but here I am on Oahu. Waikiki looks nice, and my feet are getting sunburned.
That is true. It definitely, but the idea is that we need to compensate these men and women because they take, obviously, a lot of risk in pushing the company's agenda. So, obviously, when they leave, the idea is that they deserve to get extra compensation, I guess.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good work if you can get it.
Yes.
So what about stock options? Are those only for the select?
Well, stock options, that's actually, you can set those up in a way where everybody can purchase. So it really just depends on what the company wants to do. A lot of times they are set up for the CEO, again, those C-level executives and a lot of senior management. But I've been part of companies where they've set up employee stock purchase plans, for instance, where it actually allows any employee in the company who wants to own stock to actually purchase stock, again, at a cheaper rate than you would find on the stock market. And yeah, so basically they share the wealth. Like if you own stock, the idea is that you're more vested in the company when you own stock, and so you care more about the work that you're doing and the work that your co-employees are doing. So yeah, so in some companies, again, they have to have that mindset of we want everybody to benefit from the growth and profit of the company, and so make those plans available. But you can definitely create those plans for everyone.
Yeah, I think that is so good. I really like that because I think you do. You bring a person in and they start to take ownership of the business, and it's more than just a job. It becomes something that they look forward to.
Absolutely, absolutely.
You know what? We did not even get to ancillary benefits, but this has been a great show. Thank you for coming on, Wanda, and thank you for enlightening us on a really dense and heavy topic. Once again, give our listeners some contact information for you.
Absolutely. You can reach me at neu@stulawgroup.com. On my phone, you can reach me at 404-418-8492, extension 103. Again, that's 404-418-8492, extension 103.
You're listening to Lewis on the Law. My name is James Lewis. I am your host this week and every week. If you need to get in touch with me, you can email me at james@jameslewislegal.com. You can go to my website, jameslewislegal.com. There I have a contact page. And just drop me a line if you have a legal issue that you need help with, especially if you have a property law issue, a real estate issue, transactional, commercial leases. Just go ahead and drop me a line. All my old shows are archived on my website, and you can give me a call too. My number is 404-610-0075. Once again, that's 404-610-0075. Before I leave, I want to thank the guys who make the magic happen. Mr. Anthony Cook, the villain of video, he walked out on us somewhere. And the soothsayer of sound, Mr. Sam Davis. Thanks, guys.